love, you're listening to the Died on Ashanta podcast. I'm a resilience strategist and migrant integration specialist who has spent the last 20 years traveling, working, and studying throughout the Caribbean, North America, Europe, Africa, and Asia. As a globetrotter, I quickly learned how to bounce back from crisis and how to thrive in new and strange places. I've used my training and experience to develop a resilience-based framework, and now I help others to get over the hurdles that come with living in a foreign country. Now on this podcast, I invite you to join me on this journey of living with simplicity, joy, and resiliency. From green smoothies to goal setting, we'll cover it all. We'll talk about all the things that help us to thrive through the storm. Welcome to the Died in Ashanta podcast. This is episode 33, and today you need to stay moisturized. Now, if you ever think about dryness, you probably have images come to mind like a desert or a period where people are experiencing drought or a famine. But the very essence of dryness is death, because so much of life is supported by water and moisture. And so what we want to focus on today is how the practice of staying hydrated and moisturized inside and out contributes to, replenishes, and sustains your physical resilience. Of course, yes, today is about physical resilience, and we're focusing on moisture. And it's not like in a previous episode where we talked about hydrating and making sure you drink lots of water. We're talking about what you do with those parts of your beauty, your appearance, that gets the last of all the nutrients and hydration that gets into your body. And that is things like your hair, skin, and nails. Now, the reason I thought it was very important to bring this up is because the reality is that when life is overwhelming, when you have a lot of demands on you mentally, physically, and every way that you can think of, it is very easy for you to neglect yourself. Now, just picture you've probably stayed up late working on a project or an assignment or something, and you wake up late. So you've overslept and you have to rush out the door and you take a quick bath. How often, if you know you are late, you are rushing, do you stop to apply some body butter or some nice oils to your skin? Or do you simply rush out of that shower, pull on some clothes, and hope that towards the end of the day you can do justice to your skin? How about, say, your hair? When everything is going crazy and you have lots of deadlines to catch, you may go ahead and shampoo your hair, but how often, while you're under stress, under pressure, do you spend the time to deep condition or to do a hot oil treatment and make sure that you are sealing in the moisture and protecting those lovely locks of yours? That is exactly what I'm talking about. When these crises that come up so often, when things get pretty demanding and hectic, when you're feeling overwhelmed, what are the habits that you're going to cultivate to ensure that you don't leave yourself for last, right? Now, when you think of stress, it means that you are prone to neglecting yourself if you don't already have habits built in. And then the weird thing that happens is that there you are stressed out, you're neglecting things like making sure that you've had a hot oil treatment for your hair, or that you have applied body butter after you've taken a shower, and then it leads to complications. You're wondering, complications? Of course, it does show up as a problem on your skin or your hair when you're not taking care of it. When you have things like eczema or atopic dermatitis popping up, and you have this dry, flaky, itchy red skin, or there are cracks on your skin, on your lips. A lot of people notice that when they have cracks on their lips. And sometimes when you have cracks in your skin because of how dry it has gotten, especially depending on the climate where you might be living, the conditions just of the environment may cause you to suffer extreme dryness. And then that leaves you exposed to infections because you have this broken skin that is open to anything that comes along. When you think of your hair, these complications may look like dry, brittle hair that leads to split ends. Your hair starts falling out. Yes, hair loss, because you are not maintaining the natural levels of moisture for your hair just based on the stress and the lifestyle that you're dealing with. And now you look in the mirror and you see your skin is in a bad condition, your hair is falling out, and guess what happens? This only creates added stress, more discomfort, and anxiety because you are now looking, okay, my schedule is packed, I have so many things to do, I have deadlines to meet, or I have this personal crisis that's going on and I need to take care of maybe a sick family member, or I have these expenses piling up that I need to pay off debt for, whatever the situation is. And suddenly your beauty is failing, your appearance is getting shoddy because you aren't in the mental state to take care of yourself. And when you look in the mirror, you're not happy with what you see. And this kind of anxiety gets what? A rush of cortisol, those stress hormones in your body. And this only leads to more problems, more hair loss, more issues with your skin. So it's this kind of voracious cycle. So it never ends unless you interrupt this cycle of stress, neglect, complications, stress, complications. This whole cycle doesn't stop until you start to cultivate the kind of habits that ensure that you stay moisturized. And then when you're thinking of moisturizing, like, it could be simple things like keeping a water bottle just to spritz your hair. I used to tell people that you should water your hair just like you water your plants. And it's this advice, of course, is specifically for those who have afro textured hair, where the shape of the coils of your hair, the kinks and the coils of your hair, is kind of like a helix. If you think of a springy coil, imagine putting oil at the very top of that coil, and it can probably make one ring down, maybe even two, but it doesn't go down the full shaft, the full length of that coil. And that's exactly what's happening with your hair. And so that's why you need to spritz your hair every so often and get things like lovely butters and oils to seal in that moisture and make sure that it's well taken care of. And the same with your skin, especially if you are fond of hot baths, hot showers, then you need to make sure that you're putting back some oils back on your skin that have been stripped away by maybe strong soaps and the hot water that you love to stand and shower in, to put that back so that you don't end up with itchy, flaky skin with rashes developing and that sort of thing. Now, this probably sounds like really, really practical to you, but this is the reality of habit cultivation. You have to think down to the tiniest detail of how can you take better care of yourself and make it such a habit that it becomes automatic, a default that you do this. And so you have to take care of yourself. There is a proverb from the Akan people in Ghana that says, a person is like long grass. If you treat it well, it grows well. If you do not, it spoils. Now, I think that's a beautiful proverb to think of yourself. How are you going to take care of yourself so that you can thrive, so that you can grow well, despite the harsh conditions or environment you may be in at this point? Just like when a hurricane or other adverse weather comes through a physical location, how do you set yourself up that when the storms pass through your life, you still come out thriving like that long grass? Or are you going to just focus on these crises that pop up in your life and neglect yourself and be like the grass that spoils? I would hope not. One lovely book that I dug up from my collection is Sacred Woman, A Guide to Healing the Feminine Body, Mind, and Spirit by Queen Afua. And in this book, there's a section where she focuses solely on beauty. And I mean, she goes over some baths that you can soak in. And this is lovely. While hot showers and baths can strip away a lot of the essential oils that are in your skin naturally, soaking is another great way of putting back some moisture and soothing your skin. Of course, if you follow with some great oils and butters to seal everything in. Once it's not a hot bath, just a nice warm bath to soak your body in and to soothe it from all the sometimes the cold, windy environments that you go out into during the day, or harsh, strong sun that you end up standing in based on whatever it is that you're doing. So I highly recommend that book. She goes over things like how you can create a mask for your hands to bring back that kind of supple softness of your skin, because our hands do a lot of rough work and we need to take care of them. She talks about getting a manicure or a pedicure, I don't know, every 2 weeks. And these are things that you can do for yourself, by yourself. There are lots of DIY tips for taking care of yourself and making sure that you stay hydrated and moisturized inside and out. So that's definitely the recommendation this week, that you try to cultivate habits that keep you moisturized, taking care of your skin and your hair, because that's your glory, that's your beauty, that is what people see when they first encounter you. And so like some people would say, you shouldn't look like what you've been through. So I'd encourage you, make the effort, despite what you may be going through, despite the hassles and the hurdles, that you will take the time to show some kindness to your skin and your hair. Take care of yourself and stay moisturized. Thanks so much for listening, love. If you enjoyed this episode, head over to diadanashanta.com. I'd love to hear your thoughts on today's message. Be sure to drop your email address so I can send you some helpful resources, updates, and the occasional music video that I may have on repeat. Make sure you subscribe and spread the love with someone you care about.